Hello Sagittarius, this is going to be your August reading for 2018. And so I'm going to start shuffling. This is for Sagittarius rising, sun, and moon sign for the rest of August 2018. In Sagittarius's best, highest good, along with whatever they most need to hear. Hopefully this retrograde season has been treating you okay. I could go on a super long rant on what it's been like for me, but I think I kind of got that out in the beginning of the Virgo reading. So if you really want to hear me rant, which I doubt you do, you can always check out the beginning of the Virgo reading. But for now, I'm just glad to be outside in some peace and quiet with no distractions so that I can do this. This is for Sagittarius, rising sun and moon sign for August 2018 in their best, highest good, along with what they most need to hear. Okay, one more shuffle and then I'll start picking the cards. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry, I tend to whisper a little bit. Once I actually get started, I'll make a point to speak louder. I'm sure the sound is different because I'm outside. The sound isn't bouncing off any walls. The tree behind me with the hole is one of my favorite trees. Around where I live. I'm actually not very far from where I live. Okay. I'll show you the cards, of course, after I pick them all, and then I'll get started. Okay. Out of 11 cards in your Celtic cross, you actually have 4 major arcanas, which is kind of a big deal. Taurus has still topped you this month as far as major things going on, but that's still quite a bit. And I'm probably going to be picking some clarifiers to go with these. Your central experience for the month or the rest of August is the Magician. Your challenge or countering experience is the Devil. Uh-oh, hopefully the wind doesn't blow my cards away. Where did it? Okay. What's helping you or hindering you is the Hanged Man. You see what I mean about the major arcanas. At your core, or your root of your being, is the King of Cups. Your recent past is the Queen of Pentacles. Is there a streak of light? What is that? Huh. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like a white... Oh, that's so strange. Okay. Your best possible outcome is the 6 of Swords. Your near future is the Queen of Wands. You right now are the King of Wands. Interesting. I believe the Queen and the King of Wands came out for a few of the signs last month. It makes me wonder. In your surroundings, you have the Six of Wands. As your hopes or fears, strength. I'll definitely be picking a clarifier or a couple of clarifiers to go with this. Your general outcome is the Tower. Okay. All right. So your central experience for the rest of August is the Magician. So this, I can't remember, but I think you had the Magician in your July reading, in your general reading for July. So you may want to watch that again and see if this is a continuing story for you. But basically, this says where you're at now is you are all about standing in your power, being your authentic self, being very direct and open about what you're doing, who you are, what you want, what you don't want. Also, independence, self-empowerment, feeling capable, feeling as if you can handle anything that comes your way. Feeling completely empowered, feeling ready to handle anything. Your countering experience is the Devil. I may want to pick a clarifier to go with this to help me explain it. It's kind of, because it's a large card, it can take a number of different forms. Okay. Another major arcana. Your clarifier with the Devil is Temperance, which is one of your cards. Angel Temperance is all about finding a blend or finding a balance between seemingly opposing or extreme opposites, or seesawing, or even with just handling the Devil in general. So the Devil represents situations where you feel stuck, where you know whatever this pattern is or whatever this addictive pattern is not good for you, but you can't seem to stop. And this can take so many different forms. I'm sure you know what form the Devil takes in your life, whether it's relationships, substances, just doing too much or being excessive in one way or another. But it's to the point of it being unhealthy. Sometimes it can represent feeling controlled or feeling trapped by external forces or even yourself. This represents what holds us back, what makes us feel bound, what makes us feel trapped, what makes us feel like we can't stop whatever this thing is. Sometimes this can even represent authority figures that have gotten corrupt or that have been using their power in the wrong way, which when you feel bound or trapped by situations or authority figures like that, it's usually because of possible legalities. It can be a boss, it can be an organization that you work for, it can be any number of things, it can even be a landlord. But basically, it's if it is an external force or person, it represents somebody that you are under, or something that provides you with what you need, whether it's food, money, clothing, shelter, work, whatever it is that you need. Sometimes they prey upon people's psyches to make them believe that they are the only one that they can really go to for those things. And so you remain trapped in a situation that is no longer good for you, or that makes you feel bound. This can sometimes be a lover or a partner as well that has used their canny intelligence to wrap cords around you to make you feel as though you need them, even though you do not need them. In fact, it's the opposite. You need to get away from this or transmute it. So this can be internal or external. You know all this. I'm just repeating. So your clarifier for that is temperance. This leads me to believe it could be some kind of an external situation that you're in. It can also be internal, where you're trapped by some kind of pattern that you know is no longer good for you. In which case, I'm looking at this also as a remedy as well as a clarifier. So this is all about staying positive, remaining open to the divine, and also learning how to blend these things within your own being. Sometimes the devil is our own shadow, and oftentimes when we ignore our own shadow or we don't pay attention to our shadow, it can get larger than life to the point of almost making us feel as though it's something that we can't control anymore, or that demands our attention. So temperance in this case I'm getting is about accepting all of yourself, accepting all of where you're at. Not that parts of it are acceptable, but just to accept them for what is. I believe the term I was taught a while back is radical acceptance, accepting all of it. And once you can actually look at it or see it or accept it, then you can really work with it, where you can blend it, find some semblance of inner peace or calm in dealing with these things properly. So that's your challenge, is to do that during this process of the magician, which is empowering yourself. Hopefully this is making sense to you and it's not too vague. So what's helping you, I'm getting, is the Hanged Man. I'm not getting that this is hindering you in any way. You may need some solitude, quiet time, or space in your life at this time in order to go within to really hear your innermost voice, your innermost promptings, your innermost intuition. Seeing things in a different way, paying attention to your visions, dreams, inspirations, and also just what comes to you. What comes to you in that state of total relaxation and suspension of all external things, so that you can get back in touch with what you truly want, or receive some kind of vision or inspiration concerning things in your life where you feel stuck. So this is what's helping you, is the Hanged Man, is some kind of vision quest, some kind of getaway, to find that balance, that temperance, that inner peace, to be able to blend. At your core, you have the King of Cups. So this leads me to believe that you have been doing a lot of work on managing your own emotions. And the King of Cups can also represent a person in your life. It can be a friend, an ally, or just an important person in your life that's showing up at this time, either internally or externally. But the King of Cups represents the emotional body in its fullest, and because of that, it represents all of your emotions, the subconscious emotions, the emotions that we try to hide from ourselves, that we don't want to admit to, along with all of our regular emotions that most of the time we're able to accept or feel. And this is about, again, I'm getting something in here about acceptance of all of your being, your shadow side, your light side, all of your emotions, and that includes the shadow side of your emotions as well. Oftentimes this takes the form of things that we don't want to admit to, like jealousy, anger, fury, wanting revenge, all of those emotions that we have a hard time realizing that we have, or that we don't want to admit to, or that we are afraid of them taking us over or controlling us. So at your root, I see you as you have been making a concentrated effort to acknowledge all of your emotions and manage them properly, where they're not running all over you or leaking all over in your life, but you're also not bottling them up or repressing them in any way, because the devil is here. You cannot repress. If you try to repress, it's going to blow up in your face or rear its ugly head more than usual. It does not want to be repressed. This wants to be dealt with. So if you have a person in your life that represents this sort of energy, this is telling me this is a good ally for you to have in your life at this time. Also, another way of interpreting this is this scorpionic person could also be triggering these things for you as well, where you're having to look at these things more than usual because of this person, or something that this person brings out in you. But, you know, even though the King of Cups is a scorpionic king, and because he tends to be poker-faced and not really easily show what's underneath his surface, he is actually quite sensitive, protective, and loving, and very intense with his emotions. So if this is somebody in your life, this is somebody that you can at least count on to mean what they say or to act in integrity the majority of the time. If he was imbalanced, this would have flipped out upside down or something. So in your recent past, it looks like you've been really trying to work on things like prosperity, creativity, creating solid structures in your life where you have enough time to be able to relax or play as well as work. And this is also about creating on a material plane things like beautiful gardens, outdoor sanctuaries, sanctuaries for plants and animals and insects, quiet, beautiful places for people to be able to go to for solitude and to have those hanged man moments. So it may be that recently you have spent a great deal of time out in nature, just getting grounded and getting back in tune with your body, which is great. So your best possible outcome is to move on from conflict. This can be external or internal conflict. This can be in your own psyche or without it. So basically this represents moving on from fighting, conflict, differing parts of yourself that argue with each other. Also combative communication or miscommunications as well. So this is about following your higher self or your intuition or your guides onto much more peaceful waters, where you are able to find that peace and that solitude that you need in order to blend all of these things that are happening. This can also mean travel or going away someplace for that. That ray of light is so interesting. Let me see. Yep, it's definitely on the screen. That's so interesting, you guys. Okay. This is also possibly about doing a retreat or getting away or taking a small trip out. Just getting away from where you have been. In your near future, you have the Queen of Wands. So this leads me to believe you are fully going to be continuing to walk the path of the magician. She reminds me of the magician in a lot of ways, except she's more of a feminine form of it, which is a little softer, a little kinder, a little bit more motherly, a little bit more sensitive. But she is a hardcore, passionate queen that is all about getting things done and seeing progress happen, and also things like leadership. Taking the reins in one's own hands to make sure that this creative process continues in its best possible way. So this is in your near future. This can also be a person in your life as well that is showing you those qualities at this time. This can also be yourself. You don't have to be a queen. You can be a man too. But it's also speaking of protection of young processes, of young children, plants, animal, also of elders as well, anybody who needs protection and leadership on their behalf. Also, young projects, young things that you want to get started with or that you have already started. This is about knowing exactly who you are, what you're capable of, and knowing what to do. So that's in your near future. That's excellent. You right now are the King of Wands, which is basically almost the same exact message, except that because the Queen is in your future and this is present, this leads me to believe perhaps you may be coming off as being a little too stern or a little too, what's the word, overly protective, or that's not it. It's a little too micromanaging. A little too micromanaging. A little too stern, a little too bossy almost. Or just a little too strong. And so, not that this is bad. This is where you're at now. Perhaps there's a reason why you have to be this way at this time. Go with what you feel. But I do see you softening up in the future and perhaps practicing more compassion or a little bit more softness in how you lead things. That can also be a person in your life that shows those qualities too. In your surroundings, you have the Six of Wands. So this says, in your surroundings, you are going to have victory and success. If you've been working towards some kind of goal or outcome that you've been really bad wanting to get to, as long as you've been doing the action steps, which I believe you have, and as long as you've stayed positive, which I believe you have, in your surroundings, you're about to have some kind of victory or success with whatever you've been working hard towards or whatever you've been using your leadership skills towards. Between the Magician and the King and the Queen of Wands and then the Six of Wands, this leads me to believe you are doing a lot. And you're feeling extremely motivated and passionate about whatever it is that you're doing, which is great. So, as your hopes and fears, mostly hopes, is that you will continue to have the energy that you need to get these things done, as well as being gentle but firm and strong in who you are and what you are trying to do. I am getting something in here about needing to blend, again, from that Temperance card, blend your forceful nature and your gentle nature to find that nice balance there. Sometimes you may be coming off as being too strong or too hardcore, too bossy, and other times you may not be assertive enough. But I'm getting it may be the other way around. So your hope is that you will continue to walk this path of strength and passionate creativity, but also to be gentle enough so as not to come off the wrong way or make other people feel as though their own power is being taken away, as well as your own by others. There may also be some allies in your life that would fall along the energy of Aries, Leo, and Scorpio and Capricorn, if that makes any sense. If not, discard that completely. So this is interesting to me. Your general outcome is the Tower, which is about an old structure that no longer serves you in your life, finally crumbling and falling apart. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a clarifier for you. Okay. You have the King and the Queen of Swords with the Tower. Wow. You may need to make a major decision or you may need to assert yourself to make sure that things are fair or just. Or you may have to answer to someone else, or someone else may have to answer to you. It feels as though you have some really strong guides in your life at this time that are forcing you almost to follow your own truth. And whatever isn't your own truth is going to crumble. And I knock on wood, I'm hoping that it's not going to crumble in a very violent, awful, sudden way. But if you continue to not, I don't even want to say that. If you don't follow your own path of truth and independence and come into your own power with what you're capable of, I can see things as either getting much better or much worse. This is reminding me of the devil here. Feels like if you don't address this devil, if you don't address what is holding you back or making you feel trapped or powerless, things are going to fall apart even worse. You may even have something taken away from you. I'm really hoping that that's not true. I'm talking about worst case scenarios here if you don't follow your natural path that you're already doing. Or the thing that binds you, that you may be working for or under, or the corrupt system is about to completely crumble. And so as your general outcome, you're going to have to be truthful with yourself, be truthful with others, and also pay attention. Pay attention to signs, messages, and things that you perceive or see. Don't listen to anyone else's opinion about what you see. You know what you see. So walk the path of truth, walk the path of empowerment, and don't let the devil get you down or cause any wreckage in your life. You can easily defeat the devil with this sort of truth. And if anything, the devil may be something that you may end up feeling sorry for, either in yourself or in somebody else or in a system. Why am I holding this? So, between your two outcomes, your best possible outcome is the Six of Swords, which is moving on from conflict onto much more peaceful waters. And your general outcome is the Tower. So this, I think I'm remembering that from your July reading, in the past, you had some kind of situation going on in your life that was about to crumble and you got out before it crumbled. I'm almost getting this message again. It feels as though you have some time here. You don't have to do this immediately, but you should start preparing to possibly get away from whatever this is, because whatever this is that's holding you back is soon going to crumble, and then it'll be harder for you to get away. So I'm definitely getting something in here about needing to prepare and needing to trust the signs or trust what you perceive. And especially because of the emphasis on the swords, I didn't get the High Priestess. I didn't get anything other than the Hanged Man, actually. You do have one water psychic card, and that's the Hanged Man, which is helping you. So definitely pay attention to your dreams and your intuitions as well. But what I'm getting is you need to pay attention to your actual perceptions that you have from your mind, from things like analyzing, noticing details, placing details together, seeing overall patterns, just noticing from your pure rational mind. Pay attention to what your mind, to what you're perceiving. And I don't want to freak you out. This could be anything. It doesn't have to be literally you have to move from your location because you're about to have something awful happen. This can be anything. Get out of the company before it crumbles. Get out of the relationship before it crumbles. Get out of the living situation before it crumbles. Something's about to crumble. So And I'm almost getting something, how it'll happen slower for you so that you have a little bit more time to prepare and get ready to leave or to start looking for something else. So interesting, very interesting, you guys. Hopefully that made sense to you or helped in some way. Hopefully that didn't freak you out too bad. And you have this as your challenge, which is your own energy. And then you have another rainbow card, which is the Hanged Man. Notice how similar these two are. One is a holy person, or a seer, or a Neptunian psychic type individual, which is the Hanged Man, and the other one is an angel. Both of these have to do with spirit. Both of these have to do with blending and listening to your higher self. So as long as you're doing that, you will be just fine. And as long as you stay empowered. And if you would like, check out your bonus reading, which will be about love and relationships, and then your jobs, career, and money, and then your health. Many blessings to you. I love you guys. Take care.